Well, just on Prime Minister Albanese. Yes, he should be leading the Australian delegation to the coronation, but isn't it amazing how these avowed Republicans line up for any of the grand functions associated with the monarchy? Far from distancing themselves, they put their running shoes on to be at the front of the queue. Well, the one thing that should be said about the coronation is that the Diamond Jubilee State Coach that will carry King Charles, and at that stage, the Queen Consort Camilla, later to become a Queen, that will carry them to the coronation. The coach was made in Sydney. There's your man on the screen at Manly. I know him well, Jim Frecklington. I was regularly invited to witness the immense detail to which he went to construct the carriage, a gift to the late Queen Elizabeth. Jim Frecklington tried, he'd tell me, to encapsulate 100 years of the history of England into the Diamond Jubilee State Coach. There it is. Look at it. Well, keep looking at it. Let me tell you about it. It's the gift to the Queen by Jim Frecklington. He got a bit of help from the government too, but he did most of it on his own. Amazing bloke. Let me tell you, this thing that you're seeing on the screen contains timber sections, and I'll get the boys to leave that up, fashioned into small varnished squares. The timber segments were sourced from 100 historic palaces, ships and buildings, including the door from number 10 Downing Street, Henry VIII's flagship, the Mary Rose, the Tower of London and St Paul's Cathedral. All bits of timber and pieces from all of those places. There are also segments from Windsor Castle, the former British yacht Britannia, HMS Endeavour, an original counterweight from Big Ben, part of a Battle of Britain's Spitfire, part of a musket ball from the Battle of Waterloo, all encapsulated there that you can see. Other items relate to Sir Isaac Newton, Shakespeare, Charles Darwin, Joseph Banks and Florence Nightingale. I mean, this is staggering in its detail. There are fragments in it of the royal box at Ascot. I've seen all of this. He used to show me as he was putting it together. I couldn't believe it. Sir Ernest Shackleton's Antarctic base, one piece of Sir Edmund Hillary's Everest ladders. Jim Frecklington's coach, the Diamond Jubilee State Coach, it'll take King Charles to the coronation. Jim Frecklington was once a manager of royal coaches and a coachman to the Queen. But the coach has modern suspension, lighting, heating, electric windows and air conditioning. But the return journey after the coronation, that's a different story. It'll be made in the gold state coach, but that was built in 1762. Apparently not a comfortable ride. The late Queen Elizabeth travelled to and from her 1953 coronation in the gold state coach, later recalling it as a horrible and uncomfortable journey. Jim Frecklington told me it's referred to as like being in a ship in rough seas. Queen Victoria refused to ride in it. But isn't that a story? The coach which will carry Charles and Camilla to the coronation was made in Manly, one of the relaxing venues across from Sydney Harbour. Jim Frecklington, we haven't been in touch for a while, but wherever you are, my friend, take a royal bow. By the way, it's also reported that the late Queen in particular and the royal family love their marmalade. Well, Reuben Cooperman is one of Australia's most decorated amateur marmalade makers. He's 69 and his latest batch has been given the regal treatment. He was honoured last month at the World Marmalade Festival, and the prize, his marmalade, will be a formal gift to King Charles III for his coronation. Now, there are only two rules. It had to be organic and it had to contain no alcohol. And on another touch, the royal chef, Mark Flanagan, has had his work cut out. Last month, he received a word from the royal messenger that King Charles III had settled on his signature coronation dish, a dish that would usher in, he thought, a new chapter for the monarch, reportedly representing an energised and modern crown. The dish? The coronation quiche, especially chosen by Charles, and it'll be served, according to the royal website. The dish is a deep quiche with a crisp light pastry case and delicate flavours of spinach, broad beans and fresh tarragon. Eat hot or cold with a green salad and boiled new potatoes. Now, unquote. Some would say forcing your subjects to spend their Sunday eating boiled new potatoes may not be everybody's idea of Sunday fun. One wag argued that the biggest issue with the quiche is the message it sends. because quiche, of course, is always a bit of an afterthought. It's a meal that your parents toss together after work using whatever pathetic ingredients are left in the fridge. Coronation quiche. A final word is that according to the Daily Mail newspaper in London, the King's favourite food is spaghetti carbonara, which leaves the royalists wondering why we don't have a coronation carbonara.